This is Bloodspill making his long-awaited return.
And I'm Shady Chaos, new to YouTube, and this is my first account with Bloodspill.
We decided if two people are interested in the same things, they should be morphed together to make an even better experience.
We are doing a
fan fiction
of Sonic and DBZ currently. And right now, this is a battle between two columns. I picked player 2 and he picked player 1.
Player 1, though we had customized all these characters, we agreed that in order to make the fight a little bit more even, we were to not use any customs.
So, and basically, they're all just original characters, just like the series. Except, it's just a random mashup that we ended up picking. He already had his team set up. I went for speed.
The characters that I choose are, well, I usually choose them because I'm either good at them or they seem to be strong due to previous playing as them inside of the story missions. From the looks of it, the story unfolds just how it should. Kid Buu owning future Gohan. Doesn't surprise me, really.
Nope, not at all. The question is whose team's gonna win. I'm pretty sure that my team's not gonna win, out of all honesty.
Well, if I would have put customs on these guys, then it would be certain.
Yeah, I would be completely pwned if he had customs on.
Let's just say, when it comes to me and my customs, I put the COM strength on medium, right? Well, I put all of my guys in customs and I put them all on one team. Neither of us, at our max, could beat all 5 of them, with 5 of our best people.
Neither of us.
So it's either I am damn good, or we just fucking sucked.
But I'm pretty sure, well, for his case, that we don't suck. But I'm probably either in between sucking and good, so.
And somewhere in between there. It's that little gray zone you like to call average.
Yeah. Average.
Anyway, the type of videos that you're going to be seeing on this account are of some Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 gameplay, glitches, teams,
and others of Sonic, like my favorite game, Shadow the Hedgehog. Except I need a new copy.
Yeah, games come and go. And you all should probably know that if you are fans of my channel, due to the fact that Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks unfortunately fell in mid-play, which means that I couldn't finish the better portion of it. Still not happy about that.
Well, at least we're back with a brand new, well, he's back, but we're doing a brand new thing. He's gotten whatever games he's stored, most of mine are gonna be Sonic.
And I figured, why lie? If I like Dragon Ball Z, my channel is going to be on Dragon Ball Z. I started off with Mortal Kombat thinking I could mask it. But Mortal Kombat broke and things did not go according to plan.
Well, that sucks. So far it looks like my team's actually winning. What a surprise.
I think it's just because of the purple pants.
Purple pants. It's not called being gay, it's called being fabulous. PewDiePie reference.
Yep. Okay, where did I see this before? Kid Buu versus Teen Gohan SSJ2.
I haven't.
It just happened.
Other than here.
Well, I have seen a few what-if battles.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Oh, a what-if battle of... I forgot.
It's kind of funny. Some people may think that I do these videos scripted, but like all good things, I either do it by mistake or unintentionally.
Most of it's just off the top of my head. Well, all of it's just off the top of my head.
Yeah, probably. Oh, and if you guys are curious, the name of our little fan fiction is called Chaos on Earth.
Chaos Among Earth.
Yeah.
We're still working on it, and so far we have pretty much
We've gotten
one of
the
it.
general idea down.
Yeah. We still need editing and stuff, but it's really good so far. I've done all autocorrect of what we have so far. So far we have 18 pages.
And over 9,000 words!
Yep. Oh, indeed.
And to believe, it only took us the course of 2 days.
Yeah. Not even, if you're counting technicalities. Because technically we don't... I guess we could count it as one whole day, because we worked about
12 hours one day and 12 hours the next?
12 hours a night, I'd say.
Yeah.
All night basically worked on it. No naps, maybe except for he had one nap.
Every day.
Every night. A lot.
Like literally from 7 to 11.
7-Eleven stores.
Yep. That was unintentionally pun. Crap.
Did you see the moon yesterday? This is completely random, but it was huge. By the way, if you don't know it, the moon I'm talking about on July 12th.
2014.
Yes.
In case you're watching this video sometime in 2017. Which I'll be surprised if they haven't taken down the channel by then.
It won't be taken down as long as we don't have anything naughty, or we always post.
Eh, well, you know what's kind of funny? I subscribed to a YouTube channel not that long ago, right? The name is Kwaman's Land. I'm pretty sure some of my fans have heard of him. His channel got reported by Toei Animation for not giving the proper rights.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah. It got a strike, and now he can only do videos if they are under 15 minutes.
Oh, it looks like my team's starting to lose.
Why do you say that? You still got Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta.
That's my last character, though.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No.
Oh. Hadoing.
You can kind of tell by the guy who's underneath the main character.
There's one underneath. Is Gogeta, though? I'm pretty sure Gogeta was my last character, though, isn't he?
No.
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay.
Well,
I had a brain fart.
Mr. Shady Chaos, would it be okay if I told the fellow viewers the main idea about this little fan fiction?
Go ahead, I don't care.
See, the main plot, the general part of it, is the fact that this hedgehog named Naldoa is turned into a human by Dr. Eggman, and with some serious violent action due to the Chaos Emeralds not liking the situation.
Chaos Emeralds had reacted violently with the liquid of the containment unit that Naldoa was put in, teleporting him to Earth, straight from Mobius Earth.
Well, Naldoa, trying to find out what the planet was, stumbled upon that one pole that leads you to the lookout. Wondering where the crap it went, he climbed it, and when he got to the top, he saw the Z-Fighters summoning Shenron.
He hid and heard about how to summon Shenron, and this is occurring during the 7-year time skip. This is when it's starting. We're gonna probably either have just one huge ginormous part, or it's all gonna be separated into parts.
So, after a year and a half after he witnesses the Shenron, he's pillaging homes, because he's kind of a bum, no experience for work. So he's pillaging places until he eventually comes upon the capital corporations.
That's where he finds the Dragon Radar, not knowing what it is. He's just taking random things. He looked at it, thought it looked a little...
Dear critics, the reason why he was able to pillage the Capital Corp was because Trunks was a baby, Vegeta was in depression and wouldn't do shit, and Bulma was asleep.
Trunks was a baby?
Yes.
Oh, he was already born.
He was born like a year before... No, he was born a few days before Cell.
Ah. I need to watch more Dragon Ball Z. And you need to know more about Sonic.
Yes, I do.
Sonic! PewDiePie reference. If you don't get it, you'd have to see it.
So, when he gets the Dragon Radar, he thinks that it's some sort of a fancy watch.
Kind of like what Vegeta thought when Gohan had it. Nothing but a stopwatch.
GFS reference.
Yes.
Well, he presses the button, and just out of curiosity, he gathers all of the Dragon Balls, like I have another character do in another fan fiction of mine. He gathers all the Dragon Balls, since he knows how to summon the Shenron, he does, and then he asks for something that would make him the most powerful being in the universe. Oh, would you look at that?
After a few failed wishes, he asked that. And what he got, and I won! Anyway. And what he got was a Chaos Emerald. And then he had an option of getting the Master Emerald or not. But Shenron did not have the power to bring the Master Emerald to a specific spot. Yet he, of course, he wished for it, and Shenron just told him it's somewhere in this area.
It's somewhere relatively close.
Yeah.
Oh, and yes, we are using the PlayStation system.
Oh, and by the way, those who are not fans of Shadami, hint hint, Shadow and Amy being together, don't bitch.
And in case you haven't found out already, there will be cursing in most of the videos.
Yeah, probably.
Probably all of them, because
if we can get an animator to actually animate it, that'd be wicked.
Especially if it could get if we could get Toei Animation to do it for free, that would be awesome.
To be honest, if it's good enough, they'll probably pay us so they can animate it, pay us for the rights of it. But we'd also have to pay big money to get the rights to Sonic and the Dragon Ball Z characters. Anyway, back to the story. Anyway, he made his wish, blah, blah. He got those emeralds. He didn't quite know how to consume them yet, or use them or go power. But the only reason he had the ability to consume is because he was once a hedgehog. Yet he has no memory of his past, and all he remembers is his life on Earth. Oh, and by the way, it took him a year and a half Earth time to find all the Dragon Balls.
In order to make the story go as we had planned it, we just made up the excuse that Earth and Sonic's world have different times.
Yeah, it seemed a lot more. Well, honestly, it seemed to make a lot more sense because in the Sonic X series, Sonic and them, don't you notice they never age, or they age extremely slowly. Either way, in the Sonic X series, when they got to Earth, and just spoiler alert, if you don't like spoilers, do not watch this part of the video. Skip like maybe a few minutes into it, like a minute or so.
I'll put the minute in the description.
Yeah. Anyway, at the end, when Chris, his grandfather, Tails, and them made the teleporter to go back to Mobius, that was powered by the Chaos Emeralds, they went back to Mobius. And then later, when he found another way to power that teleporter, Chris and his grandpa, Chris went through the teleporter. He was an adult at the time this happened. And when he went through the teleporter, when he appeared back on their home planet Mobius, he was a kid again.
Well, Naldoa somehow is able to absorb the 7 Chaos Emeralds, but he is unsure of the location of the Master Emerald. Well, Vegeta, he decides he's going to get up and go for a walk.
Being all depressed and such.
You know, trying to shake his depression. But when he opens up his blinds to see if it's a good day, he winds up actually seeing the Master Emerald coming to Earth. That kind of gets his attention. So, during his walk, he tries to sense the power, but it does not want to be sensed. So he just tries to find it manually and does succeed. When he finds the Master Emerald, when he touches it, he overflows with chaotic power.
And that chaotic power gave him his turn. It turned his well, if he had an aura at that time, it turned it green. He had a green aura. It was rather faint because just by the touch of it, he consumed a little bit. If he had consumed as much as he could, which would probably be his breaking point of energy, because the Master Emerald has unlimited amount of power. It's what powers the Chaos Emeralds, and once the Chaos Emeralds run out of power, that's pretty much what happens. The Master Emerald powers them. And so, he took it and hit it in the hyperbolic time chamber, right?
Yeah. He tells Dende not to let anyone interfere with it. And then Naldoa senses Vegeta's energy. Naldoa is the name of the main antagonist, in case any of you haven't found that out.
And the main protagonists are going to be Shadow and Vegeta.
And considering that so many people want one movie or special without Goku in it, Goku will not be in this one.
But of course, Goku was mentioned 3 times in the prologue and once in the actual story.
He was mentioned 3 times to tell you that he was dead, he sacrificed, and all that fun stuff. And then the one time that he's mentioned in the actual thing is when we're telling you about how no one could cheer Vegeta up, not even Bulma could. Like, the thought of Goku's death, the thought of Trunks' death, the thought of Vegeta turning into a great ape.
Don't you mean himself?
Huh?
Don't you mean himself turning into a great ape?
No, I'm actually
Because Vegeta's...
I'm referring to the game.
Ah. So...
Nothing could cheer him up. Because, think about it, he got upset when Gohan killed Cell. You'd think that he'd get upset that Gohan kills Bojack as well.
Yeah. And so, Vegeta hasn't gone Super Saiyan at this point, has he yet?
No. If
And
anything, he went Chaos Saiyan. Assuming
He
that's a thing.
went semi-chaotic. He was...
Yeah.
It wouldn't even be considered semi. Because he only consumed enough to give him that green aura, not really changed his power noticeably to anybody else, other than the fact that his wavelengths were distorted.
And when it came to Naldoa finding out, Naldoa had actually been able to sense what little energy he had left, and... Crap, I am not good at this. Oh, screw that, I am. Yay!
Anyway, continue.
So, Naldoa basically goes up to Vegeta and asks him where the Master Emerald is, knowing that Vegeta had to have had contact with the Master Emerald in order to have gained the power that he did. Well, Vegeta, being his newly found power cocky self, he doesn't really want to tell him. So, Naldoa instantly, within the blink of an eye, you could have missed it, just knocks Vegeta the crap out, breaking his spine and both arms, and then simply kicking him a yard.
The only reason he could go light speed was the chaotic power. It boosts your speed more than any other power. Well, according to, Sonic logic, Sega logic, whatever you want to talk about. Anyway.
Well, after that, Vegeta gives him a riddle. The Master Emerald is atop a holy palace, or is atop a holy tower where energy cannot be sensed, aka the hyperbolic time chamber. Atop a holy tower, energy cannot be sensed.
And anyway, we're gonna go to my speciality, or whatever you want to call it. Back on Mobius, the day the Chaos Emeralds had been quote-unquote stolen, Shadow had 3 of the Chaos Emeralds in his grasp. Sonic had 1. The other 3 were still out there. This happened after the Sonic Adventure 2 Battle Saga series, whatever you want to call it. Right after, maybe a week or so after the Biolism. And those who think Shadow died that fall, no, he survived it. He survived the fall from space down to Earth. Main reason? He was in super form at the time, and his inhibitor rings were gone, if you've seen the ending.
And if you watch Death Battle, you know when he's in super form, he's practically invincible.
But I disagree with that. Shadow would not just teleport him anywhere. Anyway, that's off topic. We'll discuss that in another video if we really feel like it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm probably gonna have to slice this one into another part.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's do that now.
Hold up. What? No!
I'm gonna end the video. Start a new one.
Okay, fine, do it. Alright, I am Shady Chaos, and
this is Bloodspill.
And we are back for the second time. This is probably going to be posted right after we post this next video. Anyway, a little loud.
And you don't know why I despise loud music.
Okay, so anyway, where we left off last time, where Shadow, basically, we were talking about how Shadow survived that fall from the Ark. His super form, the inhibitor ring fell off, and we kind of went off track with something
Anyway, this was happening a week after Shadow lands. When everyone's there, this is basically kind of like a 7-year time skip thing, except nothing except a week and nothing is explained. So everybody just knows that Shadow's alive there randomly. No one cares. Anyway, we're starting off where. One sec. I need a little bit of time to do something.
Anyway, you may be curious of what I'm doing. I'm simply showing you all the characters from my little special mix and how I upgraded them. Yes, I have included Cell in this. Usually I start off with second form Cell. Now, you guys may think I'm flippin' retarded for going that low on Cell, when I could just go all the way to perfect Cell. Well, my reason being is because Cell's second form doesn't have that long to go until he can reach his perfect form. Plus, he still has the ability, since his tail isn't shoved up in his back like someone just jammed it in, he actually has the ability to absorb people's energy. Well, I take that quite literally. You hit me and then I'm gonna do a throw on you, absorb the life back, kick you away, do a big bang crush, and kill you. So usually I start off with second form Cell. If I think that the fight's gonna take a little bit more, I will skip all the way down to perfect. Simply because he is a badass. Oh, and by the way, Cell haters, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Oh, and by the way, here's what I think of him. Creepy, retarded, cool, badass.
Want to hear my opinion? I think first form is stoned off his mind. He did too many pounds of pot last night.
Second?
He is just buff and creepy rape face.
Wanna play the rape game? Not really. That's the spirit.
It's the spirit. He's just cool. Badass.
And you wanna know why I say he's badass? If you honestly want to know that, here's why. Please turn that down. Here's why. Perfect Cell. The first he kills the first person he attacks, Trunks. Not to mention when Vegeta goes all crazy psycho bonkers on him. Bonka Planet reference. He just flies up to Vegeta, utters no, it's not over. Then bitch slaps Vegeta with his left hand, and Vegeta is suddenly knocked unconscious. I mean, when you can do that to Vegeta, you can be given some credit.
Alright, anyway, back to the story.
Yeah.
It was just basically a normal night. Except normal. Yeah, kind of. Not really, but anyway, started out normal, except for the fact Sonic had been running around. He doesn't normally run around by night, but this night he was really hyper. Birthday party and stuff. Lots of cake.
Halloween!
Yeah. Anyway, lots of cake. Yeah, to the dogs too. And you saw him running around. Shadow was nowhere to be seen by anybody. Shadow had... Godbird! Okay. Anyway.
And that would be my grandma.
That would be Big Me.
So,
One time you said I could never sneak up on you, remember? You said, oh, you can never sneak up on me because I hear everything. So I had to do it because I'm a kid at heart and I knew I could. I was like,
anyway, Shadow was at the edge of a cliff. It was at the coast. He was looking down at the river and the moon, their moon is blue because the sun on Mobius is blue. Like it or not, shut up. Anyway, he was staring at the moon that was halfway above the ocean. He thought to himself of how big it was compared to normal planets of what he heard, what Tails has told him. Well, what Tails has told him before he tried to kill everybody. Or after, I mean. Anyway. Amy was looking for Sonic in the forest behind him, because that's the last place she saw him. She was just wandering around, you know, doing their thing, whatever, looking for Sonic. And then she saw Shadow. She knew it was Shadow, but she kind of thought, why not, maybe it's Sonic, just dress up as him or something like that.
And she snuggled behind him, hugged him from behind, and said, "Got you something." Shadow side looked down and he said, "Wrong again." She said, "I know, but at least I had a little bit of." Anyway,
No, you don't need your clothes.
long story short, Shadow basically asked her why she chases that blue head thing, Sonic.
No good faker.
Yeah, the no good faker. He doesn't let me backtrack like that. Amy was starting to get a hint. She thought to herself, she basically asked him, she said, "Are you intending that you love me," or something like that? That's not exact quote, but still. Anyway, Shadow was very, deep down he did, but he denied it. He got nervous after that, and he blushed. He said that basically she should go try and find someone who'd actually love her back.
Which, in my mind, is the ultimate way to become a dick. As if you aren't one already.
What?
Telling someone to go find someone who will actually love you.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway.
the ultimate way to become a dick.
She said that she knew a certain hedgehog. She started describing basically what is Shadow, and Shadow's it confused Shadow a bit.
Okay, fuck that.
Anyway,
Why did I think I could stand up to him?
Shadow had been blushing darkly, and then he was surprised when she had said that the hedgehog was black with red streaks. He said, "How did you know?" She said, "It was quite obvious. You pretty much, I'm the only one who never you always act differently around her," and he basically described what Shadow acts like around her. And Shadow told her why and crap. For details, read the fanfic. Anyway,
Well,
Shadow had.
to be completely fair, I don't think they'll be able to read it.
Anyway, Shadow hugged her and she hugged back. They made hugging for a long time. Sonic was on the edge of the coast running, and he noticed somebody in the distance. 2 hedgehogs. Those 2. Anyway, Sonic had just looked at them, and when he got close, he realized who they were. He thought to himself that Shadow never hugged anybody. And Amy saw Sonic, how did you get here? Shit like that. Anyway, let me get to my line. Anyway, I just said that twice.
Anyway, useless shit.
Anyway, Sonic had basically Amy was gonna have to choose, and that basically hurt her in her mind. She cried and ran off. They both chased. Sonic, of being Sonic,
Whale she.
he doesn't really like Shadow at all, yet he does at the same time. It's confusing at this point, so don't
It's kind of like a Vegeta and Goku relationship.
Yes, kind of like that, except not like that at the same time. Anyway, Sonic, because Shadow was as fast as him, and even faster when he takes off with the Never Rings. Sonic wanted to be the fastest thing alive, and with Shadow doing that shit and stuff, he couldn't be. So anyway, Sonic and then chased Amy, and later Sonic had basically won Amy over. But Sonic had also promised a date. Shadow was sobbing down in the forest. Then he thought to himself, why not spy on Sonic? Because he had a feeling so Sonic would never actually act like that. Anyway, he spied on Sonic, blah blah. Later, he saw Sonic and Sally, and Sally is a real character. Sodomy fans, if you don't think that, go away. Anyway, Sally Acorn, chipmunk, I think, or a squirrel. No, chipmunk. Yeah. Anyway, Shadow had saw them kissing, so he ran to Amy, told her that, and stuff like that, and she didn't believe him. Sonic had some, I forgot how he got there. Anyway, Sonic was there and they basically argued. And then when he finally admitted that it was true, that he was with Sally. Amy had cried and he jumped off the cliff basically. So stupid.
basically, anyway, basically she tried to kill herself. Ran off the cliff, landed in the water. Shadow had this, of course. Shadow cried, and it filled him with fury. He looked at Sonic. He backhanded him so hard that Sonic smashed into a tree and he... whoops, I messed up the camera. Anyway, there it goes. Shadow basically kicked the shit out of Sonic. Then Shadow jumped off the cliff and dived in the water. And yes, he can swim! He swam down and picked up and used Chaos Control to teleport up. Oh, and I neglected to mention Sonic found a Chaos Emerald in the forest. So Shadow had teleported up and Amy was unconscious. Later, he had used the 5 Chaos Emeralds out of the 3 Shadow had and the 2 Sonic had, which were on the ground next to him. They started circling Amy. And they had healed her enough to where she'd survive, but then they disappeared. And guess where they went?
On Earth.
Yep, they went to Earth. Because of that wish. And on Angel Island, Knuckles was sleeping on the Master Emerald, fell, shit like that. He freaked out, he searched everywhere, Angel Island fell, and then I think that's where we ended at the Sonic part. Let me check. Yep, that's where we left off.
Let's just say it'll take a shitload of energy to get from Mobius to Earth in less than 5 minutes.
Not breaking the 4th wall, but foreshadowing. Those of you who are diehard Shadow fans will probably know this immediately. As long as you actually know the facts about Shadow, not just what the games entail. They don't tell you what forms he is. Crap, like I'm just breaking.
You're just partial PvP.
I just destroyed the entire. I just ruined almost the entire plot of the beginning. Anyway, with the back to Earth.
Yeah. So on Earth, I believe that Naldoa finds out that the Chaos Emeralds. Naldoa finds out that the Chaos Emeralds, that the Master Emerald at least, had been put into the hyperbolic time chamber. Who told him this? I don't know. Whoever did, I'm going to fucking murder him.
Don't remember he had figured it out, because remember he figured out the riddle.
So, when Dende, who was told by Vegeta not to let anyone in, he can't quite sense Naldoa's power, but Naldoa does seem quite threatening, so, of course, he just does him the favor of letting Naldoa in to the hyperbolic time chamber to get the Master Emerald. Well, when Naldoa actually finds the Master Emerald, he touches it and holds it, trying to absorb as much energy as he physically can.
But he failed because the Master Emerald, it can't be absorbed like the Chaos Emeralds. It is near impossible to absorb like a Chaos Emerald. If you can succeed at absorbing it, your power is infinite. It rises and rises and rises and doesn't stop. It rises.
Almost like Broly.
Yes, except at a much quicker pace.
Yeah.
Because the Master Emerald, its power is infinite and nothing can ever match it. Well,
holy shit,
fourth wall breaking, nothing can match it yet.
Now, there's this one thing that you might notice on one of our playlists on our YouTube channel. It's going to be called Phoenix Burst.
It's just something we made up like the Patara rings that are used as Z items.
Like when you're on your last bar of health, you suddenly get like this huge strength boost and you basically own everyone you fight.
Your energy spikes to its max. Well, max of that form, actually, but because there's several forms, like in the Sonic Super form, Chaos form, Dark form, bunch of them. In Dragon Ball Z, all the Saiyan forms, and that's pretty much it.
Phoenix Burst is basically when you're on your last bar of health and you just start owning everyone you fight. The reason why I called it a Phoenix Burst is because everyone knows that the Phoenix dies and then rises again. Well, you basically die and then you rise again with amazing power. Henceforth, the Phoenix Burst. Holy shit, that was close.
Of course, just to actually get this on it, we'd probably need an animator. But that's gonna take forever because in Sweet Home is a dinky little shit town, so there ain't gonna be any animators.
Hey, don't trash talk it. Though it's full of potheads, it's a pretty neat head.
I still don't like Sweet Home much, other than my friends. Anyway, back to the story.
The story in which we so desperately need to get back to.
Yes. Boom!
I think I overdid that just a little.
Little.
Just a wee bit. You know, not major. Oh, and yes, we are Linkin Park fans. If you do not like it, you
go away! No, I'm just kidding.
Honestly,
Please stay. Please, just don't leave us, please. We're begging. Just turn the sound off or something, or we'll make a version without the
battles
music.
are probably a lot more interesting than us.
Yeah, probably. Or we'll make a version without music. And either way, back to the story. Shit. Back to the story. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're farther in the DBZ series than we are in Sonic. Anyway, this is a little bit of past thing we forgot to mention. Naldo was teleported to Earth during the Sonic Adventure 2 Battle Saga. And since in time back on Mobius, I think I've mentioned this already, is much, much lower than Earth time. Much slower, so it's like the hyperbolic time chamber, except not as slow.
Well, it's kind of like the hyperbolic time chamber, only not as fast.
Or that, whatever.
Because if a year and a half could simply be 3 days over there, then it would be a little bit faster than the time in the hyperbolic time.
No, a year and a half wouldn't be 3 days back on Mobius. A year and a half is about, that'd probably be about a month on Mobius. Well, from our point of view, anyway. Back to the story.
And we're back, folks.
We've gotten a little bit ahead of ourselves from Dragon Ball Z and then Sonic. So, we left off where Naldo and found those emblems. Stuff like that. And,
well, when Naldo finds the Master Emerald in the hyperbolic time chamber, he asks if anyone, when he's done absorbing the energy, thinking he maxed out, when he's done, he asks if anyone would like to test his newly found powers. Well, Gohan, Super Saiyan 2, currently the strongest being on the planet.
Or so he thinks.
Yeah. He offers to fight Naldoa, thinking that Naldoa is going to be some weak mofo who thinks he's something.
Naldoa, his hair was, everything was straight, not a single curve. It was light green with chaotic energy. And it was pure chaotic energy plus those 5 points of the human life energy, which was basically nothing compared to his chaotic levels.
Long story short, he fucks Gohan up in less than the blink of an eye.
Well, I guess it wouldn't be 5 points of human energy because he was once a hedgehog, but still.
God, I hate it when he's in max power mode. I really do. Whee! I'm dead. Well, when Gohan gets knocked out, Vegeta regains consciousness, and he just so happened to have a sense of being with him at the time. No haters, please. No one likes a hater.
Some people do, but it's only when the haters are doing it to be funny, not doing it on purpose.
Well, because Vegeta has a senzu bean, he goes through the pain of his life moving a broken arm to get it into his mouth, right?
Yeah.
Well, he goes up to the lookout, you know, and he senses all of the humongous powers from Noldoa, having absorbed stuff from the Master Emerald. Well, yes, I'm being a Chelsea. Well, when he comes up to the lookout, he notices that Noldoa left to go destroy a town or something. Well, he decides he's gonna have to move the Master Emerald without getting caught by Noldoa. So, as a last resort, he decides to grab it, and we're gonna have to go to the Sonic part for the next part to make sense. Take him away, Shady.
Alright. Actually, to be honest, we've got 20 minutes. I think we should end it here.
I tell my clean bowl.
Yeah. Okay.
It's cake. You asked me, I made the cake. You want clean the bowl?
Hello, this is Bloodspill with my dear friend here.
Shady Chaos.
And we are here for the third installment of our introductory video.
Basically, we have been explaining our fanfic we are working on and either near complete the first part or just not even close to the end. We left off to where we were gonna go to the Sonic World. How they found out where the Chaos Emeralds were and all that. You know, that junk and stuff.
Basically the past 2 episodes.
Yes.
And last I remember, I had already finished off the all of the Dragon Ball Z segment of it,
Yes.
before the two actually collide.
Yeah. And so we're going back to Sonic with the long explanation. So, Shadow, I believe we left off where the Chaos Emeralds had been stolen, quote unquote, if I'm going to say that. And Shadow was, his mind was boggled, if you may. He was thinking, how did that happen? Who stole them? He was thinking, he held Amy bridal style. All the bruises and stuff that were left on from her landing on the water were gone. She will definitely survive. Shadow had, one second. I think, okay, so Shadow stared her unconscious in his arms. The fact that the Chaos Emerald just disappeared like that, he was boggled because he didn't even sense of power take them. Shadow's tears fell on Amy in forms of energy, and that's how she woke up. She had told him that she was sorry that she didn't believe him in the first place. That it was all her fault. Shadow told her not to be sorry. That he's used to that, I think. And Shadow had told her that they had a problem with what happened to the Chaos Emeralds. She had thought that was weird too, even though she hardly knows anything about them. Yet she knows a lot, or something like that. I can't remember, my head's everywhere. Anyway, Shadow, she was asked a bunch of questions about what happened. Shadow basically said, I have no idea. And so, anyway, Shadow hugged her and held her crap like that again. Shadow noticed in the corner of his eye, Sonic twitched a bit. He started moving. Shadow said, let's get out of here, and then he teleported away. Or they walked away. Sonic got up and he was badly hurt, bleeding, bruised, broken. Arm was broken, a bunch of different stuff. Or no, his arm wasn't broken. Anyway, it was hurt badly. He had got up and he had limped his way like a zombie to Tails' house. That's where he crashed through the door, alerting Tails, waking him up. Looks like my team is winning, or my side. Anyway,
Well, consider the fact that they're both my team.
Yeah, they're both the exact same. Anyway, let's just not get off the story. Anyway, Shadow, Sonic, he had bursted in and lured Tails. Tails had ran out and saw Sonic digging through the first aid kit. Tails basically took care of him. Fixed him up, crap like that. And after that night, blah blah blah, Shadow took the plan they had. Shadow took Amy to the Ark and he said that he needed her to go get Tails and explain the situation, get everyone that was basically important. Please don't do anything like, what about this character or that character? We did what we could. Anyway.
We want to make this thing go as the most with the story as it can in hopes of making it possibly canon.
Yes, that would be awesome if we could actually make it into an actual story. But it costs a lot of money. Anyway.
Unless they wind up having to pay us.
Yes, unless they wanted to pay us for the story, but we'd have to purchase, just to make it a thing about us, we'd have to purchase so many rights. Anyway. We're skipping a lot right here.
Yeah.
Shadow is on the Ark. He sent Amy to go get Tails and Knuckles and a bunch of other people. Sonic and Rouge was on the Ark. Basically what I think, as I remember, she flirted with Shadow while they were gone. Shadow was irritated by that, even without showing it. And Amy, she had went down, got them all. They all went up there, blah blah. Amy told Tails what's up and what he needed to do. Sonic, he had lost nearly all memory of that last night. He doesn't, well, not all. He doesn't remember much, but all he remembers is Shadow ponying him, powered by anger. Anyway, Tails had went to the computer, bunch of computer work, nerdy stuff, and he had located the Chaos Emeralds and Master Emeralds. Mainly because the Master Emerald's power is so great that it can be sent from many places, but only by a machine or by an epic person. Anyway, Shadow, they wondered how they're gonna get there because it's so far away from Mobius. Shadow had said, "Oh, by the way, we're not going with anything and nothing happened on Earth in this saga. We're going comic logic, yet with some TV logic in it." Anyway, after a long time, Shadow went to the core of the Ark. He told everyone to remain in one room and do not leave that room or else something bad happened. Shadow took off his nib rings in the center of the Ark, and his chaotic power grew and grew to a point to where Shadow was he wasn't strong, but he was strong enough to teleport something as big as the Space Station 2 that far distance. Anyway, Shadow would use Chaos Control with all of his power and teleported the Ark not on Earth, in the atmosphere of Earth. Just so happenly right above, I think, the tower.
The lookout. It was a few miles above the lookout.
It was
just to the point where Vegeta could notice it.
It was above the lookout and Vegeta noticed it. Being Vegeta, he had went and checked it out.
Well, spending a few minutes trying to find out how to crap to get in.
He saw the word Space Colony Ark in all capital letters. And he had found an entrance through, where a ship connects to a little small spaceship thingy, rocket, whatever they want to call it, to get in there.
He hops in and, like most curious people, started to look around until he came upon the room where all the Sonic protagonists are.
Oh, and before this happened, the people there is Sonic, Shadow, Tails, Amy, Rouge, Knuckles, if I haven't already mentioned, and I think Sally was... No, Sally's not there.
Sally wasn't.
Sally was not there. Anyway, I think that's all the characters.
Well, Vegeta, he left the Master Emerald at the entrance in fear that whatever may be in the Ark would be hostile and would like to take it from him.
And but before Vegeta found them, they were in the core of the Ark and they had brought them in Shadow into that room. Because Shadow, he was near dead. He had so much energy drained. It nearly killed him. And so anyway, they're in that room and Vegeta finds them. They have a long talk and end up convincing Vegeta to let them use the Master Emerald to fully heal Shadow.
Well, Vegeta leads them down to the Master Emerald, and he grabs the Master Emerald, brings it down to the main room of the Ark, sets it down, and Shadow tells Amy to let him rest upon it. Well, Amy grabs Shadow, hops him on top of the Master Emerald, and he is basically revived.
Shadow had glowed and he was fully healed using the power of the Master Emerald.
Well, after that, Vegeta informs that one problem had been solved, but there was still another one looming.
He told them about Naldoa. I don't think he knew his name at the time, but anyway.
No, he did. Naldoa introduced himself after he kicked Vegeta's ass.
Yeah. Anyway, he told them about Naldoa. Shadow had underestimated what Vegeta was describing. Thinking Vegeta, he sensed a great power, but assuming Vegeta was a human because he never knew anything about any Saiyans. Unless Vegeta told him that later.
And just for your information, Shadow and Vegeta get into a little argument on the Ark.
Shadow and Vegeta argue about how Shadow could easily defeat him.
When Vegeta gets bested in less than a second.
Yes. Speaking that Vegeta was not used to Chaos power, that gave Shadow big.
Dinner's done, soup's on, cake's done, here's frosting, what's left, and cake is ready. Y'all stay the fuck out.
Anyway, Shadow had told him that no simple being could consume any Chaos power like that. Shadow had doubted him, I think, and Shadow had, well, he didn't take the Master Emerald because, well, Shadow just didn't. Like it or not, he didn't. It's our thing. Shadow had teleported down to Earth, using power from the Master Emerald, but not much. Anyway, when Shadow came across Naldoa, he stood a bit of a chance, but not in reality, no. He wouldn't have stood a chance at all if Shadow wasn't able to consume Chaos energy.
And Vegeta watched Shadow go towards Naldoa, and he decided to follow him and made a little joke. If Shadow lasts 1 minute against this Naldoa creature, I'm going to applaud him. Well, Vegeta starts to follow Shadow, and as Shadow is being bested, well, Shadow starts to fight by kicking Naldoa to the ground, and Vegeta could tell from there that Shadow was not going to win.
Shadow would use Chaos Control to sneak up on him and do that very quickly. Hint, his speed is the only reason Shadow was not killed.
Well, the funny thing is, when it comes to the actual fight, as soon as he kicks Naldoa to the ground, Naldoa barely flinched, looked back up, gained eye contact with Shadow, and asked him if he was seriously going to go through with it.
Shadow was surprised that he didn't even leave a mark on it. Because Shadow, he had sensed that he had such a power that it was just as similar as, it was equal to that of the Chaos Emeralds. Except, Naldoa was burning it off just like burning it off, like a fire with smoke.
Like freaking just pouring out an entire can of gasoline and then tossing a match.
Yes, kind of like that. But since his power that was burning it, it was also powering the Chaos Emerald. It was like a perpetual motion. And my team win again! Anyway, second team. And anyway, Naldoa was basically powering the Chaos Emerald with his own power, so it was a constant power source. So his power remained constant. Anyway, they had battled. Shadow wasn't standing a chance. In the end, Shadow basically was using chaos control to his advantage. That's the only reason Shadow could actually do anything. Shadow had said. Shadow. He was. Later, I think Naldoa left him. Shadow, he tried not. Shadow, he had pretended to be perfectly fine. But Shadow was so completely hurt.
Yeah.
But he did last for more than a minute.
Which, as a joke, Vegeta, when he sees Shadow walking by, he starts to kill him. Just clapping. A slight smirk on his face, just a wee one. Well, he decides to get a little cocky with Shadow, and he winds up grabbing Shadow. Give me a second here. He grabs Shadow, and he starts to fly him up to the Ark, right? Mm-hmm. Well, while they're flying, he realizes that the first thing Naldoa's gonna do is he's gonna go towards where he last had the Master Emerald, which is in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. So, as Naldoa goes in front of him and actually checks the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, Shadow and, well, actually Vegeta, flies up to him, kicks him in the back, and sends him flying into the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, and shuts the doors, trapping him in there. Well, he real quick flies up to the Ark, holding Shadow's hand to make sure he didn't fall, nothing gay. But because he was somewhat in a hurry and still somewhat angry at Shadow, instead of gently setting him in there,
he literally just tossed him through there.
He literally just chucked him and then flew back down.
Shadow on impact. It broke his, one sec, I think his leg?
Yeah, it was his leg.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, it was the right leg. Or it doesn't specify.
One sec, I'll check.
Well, on Vegeta's way down, he lands right in front of the Hyperbolic Time Chamber and readies a final flash, knowing that Naldoa isn't stupid. Naldoa's gonna find a way out one way or another. And Vegeta's just sitting there in preparations with his rival.
Yeah, Shadow broke his leg. Anyway.
Well,
Shadow had crawled to where all the people were, his quote-unquote friends, if you may, or company is a better word for it. So Shadow, again, they used the Master Emerald to power him up, or heal him.
well, meanwhile, down on the lookout, eventually the doors of the Hyperbolic Time Chamber came down, and although it had officially gone through, well, Vegeta launched his final flash, which did have enough power to have killed Naldoa then, but Naldoa saw it at last second, and just like Cell, moved at last second to the point where it hit him, but didn't kill him. Well, Vegeta used the confusion of the smoke and blinding lights of the final flash to go back up to the Ark and warn them that Naldoa had already been set free.
Hearing that news, they had to come up with a plan fast. And they were very frantic. They were just...
I'm not quite sure who did, but one of the protagonists had the idea of moving the Master Emerald. Well, they hadn't a clue where to move it because Naldoa would easily be able to sense it wherever they had put it.
Vegeta had said that he had a place. He didn't tell them yet, but anyway, Shadow said great. And he looked at Sonic, said, Sonic, using your speed, you shall destruct Naldoa. I mean, well, that chaotic super being, I don't think he knows his name yet. Sonic said, no problem, because, you know, he was super fast. And anyway, Naldoa, because they saw Naldoa boost blasting up there. Naldoa wasn't moving at the speed of light, because, well, he had burned a lot of energy trying to break through. He was moving as the average Saiyan, but he's a human. No, not a Saiyan. And anyway, Shadow and them teleported down to Earth with the Ark.
I mean,
Hey y'all, cake's ready to eat. Yum yum.
anyway, Shadow had teleported down to Earth with everyone. Sonic was up there, and Naldoa entered the Ark. Sonic was able to distract Naldoa for quite a while, surprisingly. But Naldoa, he started getting short-tempered. He was getting angry. And so, Shadow and them get to... Vegeta takes them to Capsule Corp.
Where Bulma had just made a machine that if you put an item into a special field that comes from the machine, the power from the item cannot be sensed.
Yeah.
Well, that served as a perfect for the cause of their situation.
So, when Vegeta was in a rush, basically just took him in there, blah blah, and when Bulma had went in there, after while talking, Vegeta was gone. I think Vegeta was gone, or no.
Vegeta was gone.
Yeah.
Or wait, no. When she first walks in there and sees all the hedgehogs and faints.
Yeah. She walked in there, saw all the hedgehogs, and she had a cup of coffee, she dropped the coffee, shrieked and fainted.
And kind of like what any mother would do if they suddenly had rodents in their house.
Yeah. That's what she thought of. Anyway. Later, I think they explained to her the situation or something like that.
And knowing that she saw Frieza's wrath, she was okay with it.
So, I think this is a good place to stop. 20 minutes is probably about somewhere around most of our videos are going to be. See you next time.
Be aware, if you're not here next time, that's only your fault. This is Bloodspill with my trusted friend,
Shady Chaos.
and we are here for one of the final parts of our introductory video.
I don't think we're even close to the final parts, but might be close.
It's an introductory video.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Many mistakes we don't care. You shouldn't do!
Wow.
Anyway, we left off where they had taken the emerald, and Bulma fainted. Where it took the Master Emerald to the Capsule Corp and Bulma fainted. After waking up, they had told her the situation and stuff.
And she, having been there to see Frieza's wrath, and having been there to see Cell's wrath through Baba's fortune-telling ball, was kind of okay with it, considering there's nothing to do.
Yeah, death and destruction. It happens all the time. Anyway.
God save glory.
After a while, Shadow would realize he forgot about Sonic, so he had teleported up to the Ark without anybody knowing, so people would kind of wonder. Anyway, he was up in the Ark. He saw that Naldo was just pounding on Sonic, screaming because of how mad Sonic made him. Sonic randomly disappeared and Naldo looked around.
I can literally...
What the fuck?
I can literally see Naldoa screaming, "Get back here, you bastard!"
Yeah. Anyway, Sonic had said, "I thought you said I'd be fine, Shadow," or something like that.
Well, I lied.
You know, I thought you were faster than anything in the universe. Anyway, and then Wall of Shadow was gone. Vegeta had asked if he could absorb some of that Master Emerald's power. Amy was like, sure, what's the harm? So he did.
He absorbed as much of it as he thought he needed. And Shadow had returned with Sonic.
Yeah. Shadow, yeah. So then Amy was like, here you are, and shit like that. And so, well, Amy said, be careful, too much of that energy will impair your ability to think straight. He was like, not like I do much of that anyway.
Yeah, Vegeta literally gains eye contact with her, and I think that a lot of Dragon Ball Z fans will agree with this.
And right here,
and it says, well, it's not like I do that anyway.
And right here, this part happened before Bulma squealed and then dropped her coffee.
Yeah.
And fainted. Anyway.
So we should get back to that part.
Vegeta come back. With Shadow instead. I mean, Shadow came back.
Yeah.
And I think Vegeta came back also.
So when Bulma comes there, she regains consciousness. Amy and the group tell her about the scenario, as we've said 3 times now. She's okay with it, and Shadow and Vegeta devise a plan to absorb as much chaos energy as they can, then go to attack and possibly kill Naldo.
Oh wait, we did not mention that they explained anything to Bulma. They did not do that. Bulma just woke up randomly. Anyway, Shadow and Vegeta then Shadow has stored as much power from the Master as he could without taking his inhibitor rings off. They had both Vegeta after Shadow was up to attack to fight Naldoa. Shadow said, yeah. Everyone gave them words of expression, and Knuckles, Shadow, Sonic said, okay, so this is what the people said. Knuckles, hold on.
Long story short,
Sonic said, don't slow down either. He is quick. Knuckles said, fight your guys as hard as out. Tails said, don't forget to use your skills. Ryu said, so that son of a bitch hell.
And Vegeta suddenly had gotten a gut feeling that something was going to go wrong when they were gone. He wasn't sure what, but something would.
Something deathly wrong.
Well, when both he and Shadow go off, Shadow sensing the chaos energy that Naldoa had left, considering he had basically burned himself off.
This, we might not have mentioned it, but this was probably chaotic residue that was left towards the tower. So they couldn't sense him coming to the city.
Well, they somehow missed him, and they hear him.
Right by them.
They hear him screech, and I quote, "I don't care the reaches I have to go for the Master Emerald. It will be mine."
He had destroyed the city.
He walked
with one blast.
Actually, they threw a giant chaos orb down into the city, blew up the better portion, then millions upon millions of chaos spheres to ensure everyone was dead.
Yes, the city was in ruins.
Well,
Shadow then looked back and saw that ginormous explosion.
And as if they haven't seen ginormous explosions, like usually, they went towards it.
They ran to check it out. Just like in almost every single anime, when something happens, they go to check it out. When they saw Bulma and... Yeah, this is close to that part. Anyway, when they saw
They saw that Capsule Corp was completely destroyed.
Yeah.
All their friends were dead, but their bodies were still there due to the Master Emerald protecting them.
Yes.
Well,
Shadow and Vegeta, they fell down and cried. Well, Shadow fell down and cried. I think Vegeta cried.
Vegeta walks up to Bulma, checks her pulse, to see if it's actually real. And they both sit there, utter a few words out of their great despair.
Yes.
And then suddenly, they both fly into an outrage. They both fly into enragement.
They were both holding their buffers, or what you want to call them.
Vegeta dropped Bulma.
Am I sitting in a talking spot for you guys?
You don't have to, but you can't.
So anyway, they were both holding them fire style, their dead limp bodies. They both looked back at Naldoa. Shadow was whispered, and they both saw something. Shadow said, "You are truly a monster. I will not let you get away with this. You just dealt your last card, and that card will be your demise." He turned around and pointed at Naldoa. Shadow didn't do that. That was Vegeta. Anyway, Shadow dropped in his body and a dark red aura formed around him with purple electricity swarming around that aura. He said, You! I shall let. Just stand! I can't go through this, not again. Shadow's fur turned pitch black, and his red streaks in his hair glowed purple, yet they're still red. And he turned around and screamed. He said, "You just made your biggest mistake. Prepare to see the true power of the true ultimate power of chaos."
And whenever that happens to you, you know you're in for some shit.
Yes. They both turned around. Shadow's dark chaos energy spiked beyond all belief, and his inhibitor ring shattered. They both, at the same time, both their powers at the exact same time spiked at the exact same rate, way past Naldoa's.
They made even Super Saiyan. They made even Broly look weak.
Vegeta's power had spiked, and he was a chaotic Super Saiyan.
Gogeta can beat Vegito. It just happened.
Anyway, Vegeta was a Super Saiyan. Vegeta was a chaotic power, a Super Saiyan 2 with a mixture of chaos power, a chaotic Super Saiyan 2. Instead of having yellow, it was green, but it was basically looked like a Super Saiyan 2.
And they kind of wrecked their shit all over Naldoa. Kind of knocking him around, knocking him through buildings, connecting his stomach to his spine to the rocks.
Vegeta had an extremely fatal amount of chaotic and ki energy that only a true warrior could handle. Shadows of Vegeta's power kept rising as they got angry and angrier every second they looked at Naldoa.
Well, eventually, after having knocked his shit around for about 5 minutes, Vegeta's little anger burst ran out, and he was
left. We're done. What? They haven't defeated on the. Wait a second. No, they haven't. Anyway.
I'm waiting.
After just pounding on it, Vegeta, he had lost most of his energy, and he was in his normal form. Shadow was still raged by chaos, and as he pounded on Naldoa, he lost control of all of his energy. Yeah, that's how much dark and chaotic energy he had. He lost him. He couldn't even speak. He roared. After every hit, he roared louder and louder, to a point where it broke Naldoa's eardrums.
Well, eventually it came to the point where Shadow had lost his sense of good and bad, and he started to go for Vegeta.
No way. After Shadow had knocked Naldoa down, thinking he killed him, there was a huge crater, and just Naldoa was nowhere to be seen, but there was a hole Naldoa was in that crater. And it was near the Master Emerald and the box,
giving Naldoa just the amount of energy he needed to actually leave in one piece.
But he could not do that right yet. As anyway, Shadow had just smashed and everything in its way. Forests, cities, people, everything was just, he leveled the earth. Almost. If you consider that being leveled. And soon enough, he had started going for Vegeta.
Not knowing the difference between ally and foe.
Vegeta had basically ran as fast as he could away, jumping over,
saying over and over in his mind, fuck.
Pretty much. Vegeta had jumped over Shadow while Shadow was going full speed at him and ran the other way. Shadow couldn't stop abruptly, giving him enough time to run and do his plan. He had ran grabbing his body as Shadow was just going faster than the speed of light towards him, or something like that. All of a sudden, Vegeta held up her body and yelled, "Remember this hedgehog?" At such a level, Shadow literally stopped dead in his tracks.
And when you can go over the speed of light speed times 5 and stop dead in your tracks, that means something.
Vegeta had reminded Shadow of his promises, of everything to that girl, that everything would be fine, and that he said he'd never break a promise.
Why start now?
Yes. Shadow had roared in pain. That roar turned into a shriek, and he fell to the ground sobbing.
Wasn't quite the result that Vegeta had wanted, but better than him dying.
Yes. Shadow.
I speak for myself when I say that, but I find it having someone sobbing is better than dying.
Then Vegeta had told him his plan to go get the emerald first. Vegeta smiled a bit hopefully and said, Shadow had said he had a plan. We have to get the Master Emerald first, and I'm going to keep my promise, and we're gonna. Vegeta smiled a bit hopefully and he said, and we're gonna what? Shadow standing up, turned his head with a determined look, and he yelled, "We're gonna show that son of a bitch hell!" Vegeta grew a smile.
Well, Vegeta thought that Shadow was rather crazy with his plan. Have we gotten there yet?
What?
Have we gotten there?
Coffee pot set, cream machines are all filled. Shake and mango, I do that.
Anyway, Shadow and Vegeta, they both started to
Shadow and Vegeta both tried to locate Naldoa.
but they thought he was dead.
Yeah.
They tried to locate the Master Emerald, but all the chaotic and dark energy residue left over from Shadow's rampage interfered with their sense of abilities. And so, meanwhile, Naldoa crawled out from the crater he saw them. He saw the Master Emerald and he limped towards it. He fell and crawled, grabbed it. Down at Shadow just shouted, "Damn it, my rampage destroyed my ability to sense other," and then an explosion of chaos energy. Just in the distance, they were so far away they could see it from millions of miles.
Basically, if you were on Pink Eye's planet, you'd be seeing a star.
Yes. And they both looked in and they both had a grim look. Shadow and Vegeta flew off towards Naldoa. When they found him, Shadow stayed behind Vegeta. Well, this was after the plan Shadow had said.
Well, Vegeta goes to confront Naldoa, right? But he knows that he has to be extremely careful since Naldoa's not the nicest person.
Vegeta had to make Naldoa angry, and he only had one chance. He had to make Naldoa use all his energy in a single blast. All the energy at that time.
So, the only way how you do that? Trash talk, bitch.
Trash talk. Vegeta taunted him to the point of he snapped.
He had taunted him in ways telling him that he was weak. He could have beaten him if he wanted to. Even a low-class Saiyan such as Turles could have kicked his ass in less than a minute.
Yes. Then Shadow when Naldoa launched an extremely large amount of chaos energy, Shadow flew in at the speed of light with it glowing green in his chaos form, and he had blocked the blast, consuming the energy, and blasting into Vegeta.
Everything within his little aura had turned into chaotic energy, all went into one.
No. There was a chaotic field created, and anything that entered it was turned into an energy. Shadow and Vegeta's energy became one, and the energy collapsed, and then there was one being standing in the smoke.
The ultimate being.
Viado.
Oh, and by the way, don't judge the fusion name. If you don't like it, don't judge it.
If you don't like it, we worked hard trying to find a name. Just please.
And anything sounds better than Shijita.
Yes. We thought that Vegito would be very lame because it's already a thing.
Yeah, other than the fact that you had a W to it.
Yes. Anyway. Viado. They walked out and Naldoa said, "Who are you? Did I create a being with my blast? Is that how powerful I am?" Viado said, "Wrong." He said, "Well then who are you?" He explained that there was Shadow and Vegeta fused. Naldoa, still confused, had no clue what exactly was going on. And then he said, they explained of what happened, about how Shadow had the ability to consume any chaotic power as long as he had his inhibitor rings off and was in his chaos form.
They started to fight Naldoa, and at first they seemed evenly matched. But Naldoa didn't know that Viato was seriously holding back. Kind of like perfect Cell and Trunks. Though they seemed equally matched, Cell was under 1% of his power at that moment.
They were then, since Vegeta's side, he wanted to match, but Shadow's part wanted to get things done quickly. So what they basically did, Naldoa had been charging up, and Shadow wanted to get something done quickly. But in this form, Vegeta had more control. But still, they were holding him back immensely.
So, as a result of both getting stuff done and letting the enemy suffer, they decided to do a signature attack of theirs, called the Double Rush. They unfused for just a split moment, just long enough for Shadow to create a beam of chaos energy and fire at Naldoa, and for Vegeta to do a final flash at the other side, causing him to be stuck between a laser and another laser.
They both had came back. They were moving faster than the speed of light, so it happened in such an instant. Although had little time to react, they reappeared back in Viato form, right in front of them, and then they did their ultimate attack, the final Chaos Flash. Using the power of chaos energy, they made a final flash, powerful enough to have wiped out Earth, if aimed wrong. Yes. It could have done more than wiped out Earth. This could have taken out a sun and kept going. But since they were pretty close, they weren't gonna miss. And since Naldoa couldn't move at all,
unless he wanted to be crushed.
Unless he wanted to be crushed by two beams, very brutally, they used the beam, and he would be crushed anyway. Baldoa was disintegrated. They both landed down and crushed. I think they were defused. They defused, yeah.
They unfused by choice, kind of like Gotenks did in the special where Tarbo arrives.
Yes.
Unfusing by choice, not by what's it called?
They could have maintained this form as long as they had a constant source of part chaotic and part basically ki energy, whatever Vegeta needed.
Ki or chaos.
Yes.
As long as they had one or the other in an infinite supply, they could have stayed fused.
And since Naldoa was literally leaking so much energy because he had the Master Element, he couldn't contain it. His body couldn't hold it all. They had used that energy to maintain it.
Think about it. Naldoa was simply a can. You can only fill a can up so much until it starts to overflow.
Yes.
And when that happens, it's anyone's game.
So, later on, they gathered Dragon Balls.
Using the Dragon Radar, which just so happened to survive, due to the fact that Bulma was carrying it in her pocket when the blast hit. It fell out of her pocket and right in front of her.
They grabbed the Dragon Balls and they did it, and because they couldn't wish them back because it was only like a few days since Naldoa had already summoned it.
Actually, it hadn't been a day yet.
Oh, it hadn't even been a day. That's how epic this battle was.
Naldoa literally wished for the Chaos Emeralds, and then over the course of a day, rained hell on Earth.
Yes. They used the Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emerald
to charge the Dragon Balls to the point where they could be used once more. Haters, beware. We came prepared.
They summoned the dragon. Well, Vegeta did, because Shadow doesn't know how.
Yeah.
And they made the wish for everyone to be returned back to the normal.
Everyone who had been killed by Naldoa's rampage, except
everyone that was killed during the time of the rampage of Naldoa, except for Naldoa himself.
Yeah, everyone who had been killed in the past 24 hours will be revived, with the exception of Naldoa, who should really stay dead.
Yes.
Or at least they hope he was dead.
They wish for everything to be restored, every single detail, all of life before Naldoa came. everything was completely fine. And I think we should end it here because it's overflowed past 20 minutes.
Yeah, we'll deal with that.
We'll see you next time.
Yep, don't show up and it's your fault.